Good morning. Morning, Susan. Um, Here we are Monday, uh, middle of May already. Um, Time marches on. Still kind of chilly. Although I was looking ahead, gonna get warm, folks, in the 80s. I guess that's all right, you know. Um, if it's, I like it when it cools off at night. If it cools off at night, it's fine for it to be warm during the day. I'm sure the plants have had it with this cold weather. Although it's been good for me because I'm getting a lot of, I'm able to get weeding done because things are not growing quite as much as they normally would. The vines and pardon me, the weeds and such. So, but I'm also, um, when you go out, and it's very interesting. I don't really think about it, right? Think about how everything works, right? But this whole idea of like seasonal allergies and the pollen and whatnot. So plants are defensive, right? Plants have defenses just like animals do. So they got thorns. They've got um, some of them. When you touch them, there's prickers or just like fuzz that's like itchy. So their defenses are passive, right? They aren't really active. Um, but they even the pollen and the stuff that they give off, the oils and different things like that, are ways to defend themselves. Good morning, Gwen. Yeah, it is a beautiful morning. So I was cutting back a honeysuckle vine and just couldn't stop coughing, right? So it's, there's something that comes off the honeysuckle that um, kind of when you breathe it in makes you cough. And tries, it's trying to deter you, like, leave me alone, let me stay. Um, so I have a fence line with a lot of honeysuckle on it. And I don't mind some. I mean, it's not bad. It's actually nice. It kind of blocks, it's an open fence, so it kind of blocks the view a little. And it's a very old fence, so it can use a little reinforcement with vines and things. It's not doesn't really hurt it. But I got to give it a haircut every year or so because it will take it will just get enormous. And yeah, it's um, it's just trying to live, right? So when it's annoying me and I have to cut it back and I feel like it's a whole big job and everything. I try to remember, right? Everything just wants to live. Um, the birds and the bugs and the plants, everyone is just trying to live out their lifespan. And, you know, we're just here trying to do our thing too. So where our things collide, we try to do it with kindness. We try to think compassionately about uh, the other things on the earth. Um, we have evolved to be smart, to be dexterous, and we can do things. We are mobile. We are able to pick things up with our opposable thumbs. So we have the advantage on all of these guys. And as with advantages everywhere, we need to think about those less fortunate, right? Just because we are bigger, stronger, um, more capable doesn't give us any more of a right to um, be here than anything else. Right? If you think about it in human terms, think of people who are very competent and uh, successful. Are they of more value Is their life of more value than those who have not accomplished much? I would say no. I'm not sure everyone would agree. I hope if they really thought about it, they would agree. Uh, um, we have intrinsic value simply because we exist. Um, and it goes for all these other guys too, right? Um, so I think people understand this more than they did at one point. I think there certainly was a feeling that the earth was our domain, right? It was here for us to exploit and use the resources, you know, the, mineral, vegetable resources, kill all the bugs, kill all the everything that we don't like. Um, and I'd like to think that people have evolved from that. Um, I think we have changed some in that attitude. I don't know how much of it is just, a maybe a spiritual evolution so much as the understanding that there are some real downsides to this behavior, um, which I love, right? I love the idea that uh, spiritual and philosophical points of view also are borne out to be physically smart ways to do things, right? So, in as much as the things that we talk about in yoga are philosophically and spiritually healthy, they're also the most sustainable and healthy way to live for your physical body and for your mental well-being, right? Um, there's nothing esoteric about this. There's nothing like abstract. It is immediate, right? If you kill out this species, this other thing is going to run amok, right? Um, there's going to be an imbalance. And as we know from everything we learn in yoga, we don't want an imbalance. We are always striving for that balance, that middle path. Um, whenever we veer off one way or the other, we're going to experience bad consequences. And not bad in the abstract, like, oh, you're a bad person. Bad, like, you are going to be suffering. You are going to feel bad. you're not going to be healthy. You're going to suffer the consequences. Either today, maybe not today, but shortly. Um, so finding that balance, right? Living in balance with all the things around us, but still doing the things that you need to do, right? Um, I think I've talked about this before, my garden group on Facebook. I kind of love it. It's kind of crazy too. Like there are a lot of people there, I think, that just get on so they can show pictures of their garden and how nice it looks. And a couple of the people have gotten called out for just posting like a stock photo of a garden that they found online. Which I don't really understand that. Why you would want to do that to a bunch of people who don't even know you, and just, but I guess people do anything, right? Um, but there are a lot of people who are really talking about a lot of this stuff, and what it comes down to in many cases is, short term, long term, right? Short term, you might spray Roundup. Oh, they hate Roundup, right? I, Roundup's not good. I mean, we know about Roundup. We know it's cancer causing. There have been all sorts of lawsuits and stuff about this. Um, it's not good. You know, probably the exposure that you're going to get to it is not going to kill you. But I mean, there are people working in the landscape trades and things like that who have literally died from their exposure to it. So we know it's bad stuff. It lingers in the atmosphere or in the environment. It's just the worst, right? So when it comes to that sort of thing, it's a short-term solution. It's a labor-saving solution, right? It keeps you from having to weed a little by spraying this stuff. But the knock-on repercussions are so dire I would say it's not worth it, right? Get in there, start pulling your weeds, right? Don't be lazy. Don't take the lazy way out. In that case, and believe me, I'm always looking for the lazy way out, and there are lots of shortcuts, right? Um, one shortcut is to just let things go in certain sense, right? Um, there are people on the garden group who are complaining about, what am I going to do about this dandelion in my yard? Or I've got clover growing in my grass. What should I do? Well, just leave it. If you mow your grass, mow over top of it. It'll be fine. It'll grow up and the birds will get the clover and the bees will get the dandelions. Everyone will be happy. Just mow it. Stop striving for 100% perfection in something that is a natural thing, right? You're never going to control your lawn to 100th degree without a lot of chemicals, a lot of bad stuff that it's not necessary, right? Why even do it? Just leave it. Let it be imperfect, just as we all are. Um, and if there's something you want to change about it, get in there and start pulling weeds. Get a hoe. Uh, there are all these tools out there that I'm not even aware of all these things that they've come up with, but there are a lot of tools and things that we can use that are they're going to take a little bit of effort, but the results are going to be better. Um, you are going to be working with uh, the environment instead of working against it. And um, um, the only thing I believe in using chemicals on is I will do it with poison ivy. I have some poison ivy, specific poison for poison ivy, that I will use because I react so badly to it when I get touched with it. But this year I'm trying to be I'm experimenting and using gloves and long, and just pulling when I find it. I don't have much, but I have a little bit here and there. So I'm trying just pulling, and we're gonna see how that works. There are a lot of natural things you can do with Epsom salts, different things. Look at it online if you need a weed killer, you feel like you do. There are safer alternatives. But again, right, we are trying to interact in a positive way, not destroying, not certainly contaminating our world. Um, it's just part of being a good citizen of the planet, right? we want to have things nice for everyone who comes after. Um, when you think about this, right? When you think about something that you want to do, consider that. Consider the impact on the animals, uh, the birds. Um, consider, you know, if it's going to be a positive thing for you and for not such a negative thing for the other creatures. We are giving less and less space to the other inhabitants in our world. And um, this has consequences. So, in a small way, we can do what we can to help, right? Um, and but be aware, right, of what that means. So, um, I was just reading something about uh, bird feeders, right? So bird feeders are a nice way to help the birds, but you got to be careful because sometimes people leave them out too long. The sea gets wet, it can spoil, it can actually hurt the birds. So, right, as with everything, we have to pay attention. But don't let, again, we can get bogged down with this stuff. Like, the idea of recycling. People are recycling, which is a good thing. Using less. Even just being aware of the impact of these things so that you can consume a bit less when it comes to packaging and stuff like that. But then people are like, well, are they really recycling the stuff? I don't know. Where's it going? Um, Again, like once it leaves your house, there's not a lot you can do unless you were taking it to the dump yourself and watching what they do to it and whatnot. So we're trusting our best information, our best intention. Um, don't get bogged down. Don't stop doing what you think is a good thing because you're unsure of the consequences. Right? Remember, what we talk about all the time in yoga is the consequences are really out of your hands, right? What are your actions? Your actions, your intention, those are the things that you have control over, 100% control. Those are the things that you got to worry about. Why are you doing this? What are you doing, right? Are you doing a good thing? Are you doing it for a good reason? Or are you doing it for some selfish reason? Right? Those are the things we police and take care of. What happens after? I mean, it's a million other things that can affect that. Um, and we don't know, right? What may look to us to be a bad outcome might actually be a really good outcome for somebody else. It again, we release that action out into the world, we're not sure what's going to be the result. So, um, police your actions, and and let the outcomes kind of take care of themselves. Okay. All right. There was something I was going to tell you, but now I think I've forgotten. Oh, I know. So I was out weeding and I did my whole front porch, and the front porch has a space between the edge and the ground where we've had critters living under there, periodically. I know because when my dog is out there, she's always trying to get underneath the porch. And so I built lattice frames to stick in there and attach them. And I left one of them off for, a good couple of, weeks or something to see, if there was anybody living in there, that they would kind of get the idea that it's time to go. When we were doing the porch, I didn't see any holes or anything like permanent under there. I think it was just somebody passing through. So we got it all attached and everything was fine throughout this past winter and such. I didn't see any activity or anything. But I was weeding and there's a hole dug underneath the lattice. So somebody is back under my porch. I don't know. And again, what are you going to do, right? I mean, nature is going to do its thing. It's going to follow its course. Um, and we'll just see. I don't know who it is. It's pretty big. Uh, could be anybody. Um, so we'll just wait and see what happens. Part of nature. We're all just living here. Part of nature. So sit tall, relax the shoulders. And then chin down toward the chest. Move the head around, make a big circle. A couple of times around. One way and then the other. Back to center. Lean forward and move around. One way and the other. Back up to your seat. Bring the arms wide. Take a deep breath. Exhale, hands together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace fingers. Lift the hands. Gaze up. Arms down by your side. Lift on the inhale. Arms down by your side. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's bring the arms behind. So we're interlacing the fingers. Squeeze the shoulders together. Maybe set the hands down behind you if you can. Gaze up. And then bring the hands out in front. Back up to your seat. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind, sit tall. Deep breath, twist. Back to center, switch sides. Back to center. Both legs out in front. Point and flex the feet. Rotate through the ankles. One way and the other. And we're going to bend the right knee. Take a hold of, so you can do this two ways. Either grab the foot in one hand, knee in the other, or if you can bring it in closer, so we're kind of cradling it, you can do that, either one. I don't know. I like this one better. I feel like you have more mobility with it, and you can move better. So with this, we are actually pulling back with the knee more than we're pulling across. So we don't want to go all the way over here. Can, right? I mean, it's not that we don't want to, but it's less effective, right? This is kind of pulling back is actually a more effective way to use this. But, do you? And then we're going to set the foot down. Either the foot is on the leg, right, for a fold, or it's down here. See what works for you. This may be too much pressure in this outer part of the knee. So see what works. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. If you do have this foot on the leg, you may notice you're not folding quite as far forward. It's because the weight of your foot is forcing your knee down, which is stretching that hamstring, which is going to limit your ability to fold forward. That's okay. Don't try to force it or anything. And then we're back up. Hug that leg in, sitting tall, shoulders back. And then we're going to switch around. So we've got this left leg. Again, however you want to do this. And then setting the foot down, either here or on the ground. Take a deep breath, reaching forward. Back up, both legs out in front. Take a deep breath. Oops. Hug this one in first. And then both legs out. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. And then coming back up, bend the knees. We're going to grab a hold of the toes or the tops of the feet. Leaning back a little, find stability, and then some extension. Halfway or extending all the way. Set the feet back down. You're going to lower down or rock back. So we're resting on the mat. Let's bring the right knee in. Extend that left leg. Breathe. Switch it around. And then extend. Take a few breaths. Bending the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Get ready for bridge. So we're just going to do a regular bridge here. Heels back, close to the body, hands by your side. Pressing down. Lifting up. Lower down. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. And then bring knees into the chest. Rock a little side to side. Arms out to a T. We'll start lowering both knees to the right. Moving back to center, and then going to the left. Back to center. Let's bring the hands on the knees and we're going to rotate. Make a circle. One direction and then the other. Everything back to center. Let's do happy baby here. Reaching for the feet or the ankles. So even a pose, right? Pose like happy baby, which is a fairly restful pose, I'd say, for most people. When you hold it a little longer, you start to feel some different things, right? Maybe some tightness through the hips. See if you can just breathe and stay with the pose. I'm going to hold it for a little bit more. See if you can stay with me. If you can't, then just, release out of the pose and extend the legs down. Don't feel like you have to stay here if it's uncomfortable to the point of being painful, right? If it's just a little uncomfortable, I would challenge you to stay with it just for a little bit more. And then extend the leg. Right? Doesn't that feel like a relief? Who'd have thought extending your legs straight up in the air would feel relieving? But it can, right? So I'm gonna do a little bit of core work here. So hands by your side, palms are down. We're gonna lower one leg about halfway and then just hold it there. We'll start with the right. So the lower you go with this, the more intense. So if you really want to go big here, bring your foot down almost to the ground. You'll feel where the most intensity is. And then lift it up, and we'll switch. And then come on back up, bend the knees, and just hug them into the chest. So I like simple poses like that, simple exercises. It's very good for your core, for that's sort of stability muscles. I like the ones where you hold more because you can't cheat on that, right? The ones where you're lifting your leg and things like that, you can do it quickly and kind of just work your way through it. Just use that momentum of motion to kind of move you through. When you're holding still, you can't do any of that. And it's simple, right? It's a simple thing that you can do. And then we're going to just extend the legs, moving into Shavasana. Breathe. So one of the great lessons of yoga is that we can sit with discomfort. Right? We aren't necessarily seeking discomfort, but we can be there. Nothing terrible will happen if you hold a pose for a little longer than is easy, right? Life is not about seeking the easy. Life is about doing the right thing. Right? If you want to live a virtuous yoga life, you do the right thing. It will not always be easy. It will be uncomfortable at times for you, maybe for the people around you. Making other people happy, what you perceive to be happy, or they perceive to be happy, isn't the goal. The goal is doing the right thing, doing what you know is right. And we prepare for this by the lessons we learn with asana, right? That if you know this is something that's good for your body, you're going to do it, even if it's hard, even if you're asking a little more than your body, I shouldn't say your body, your mind wants you to do, right? Your mind is like, no, I can't do that. Your body's like, of course you can. Let's just hold this for a little bit. Feels good, right? Nice stretch. Feels good to use your muscles. In everything, it is your mind that will defeat you before your body, right? So we want to get past that mind. We want to understand that ease and comfort are not the goal, right? The goal is to do what is right for you, for the world, for the universe, for all of us, right? We are all one. Um, we aren't here to just, take all the pleasure in and have no responsibility. We are here to learn how to be uh, a good yogi, a good steward of our responsibilities and our role here on earth. Um, it's not always easy. It it can mean, although it can be good in the long term, in the short term, it may mean you have to give some things up, right? You have to work a little more, or um, do something in a way that short term seems it's maybe not the most comfortable, but ultimately it's the best choice. I often think being a good yogi is like, it's like being an adult, right? Basically, you you have to make the harder choices, not always taking the easy way out, doing the right thing, and that to me is the essence of being a grown up. Um, you stop looking for shortcuts all the time. You understand that sometimes there aren't any shortcuts, and you just sit down and do the work instead. Okay, moving a little then, coming back into awareness. Maybe make your way up to a seat. Let's bring hands together. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for joining me today for yoga and for taking some time for yourself and your practice. I hope that you have an excellent Monday. Namaste. Okay, meditation. 5 minutes. Let's do it. Be comfortable. Um, whatever works for you. Keeping that peaceful state of mind, focusing on the breath or some simple I, Okay, we're back. Um, hopefully that was pleasant for you, and you will have a good rest of the day. Hopefully, maybe this puts you in a good state of mind to make good choices today. Good morning, Dora. I don't think I said good morning to you. Okay, so I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll go from there.